Welcome back to another Swans Cast podcast, everyone. Well into the new year now. We've had a couple of football games. We got two to talk about this week. We're going to touch on, which is the away trip up north to Sunderland, which Lee was in attendance of. A nice long away trip, that one. And the replay FA Cup match against Bristol City, which was, as of recording, last night. We obviously both went to the first leg. We didn't go to the replay. I didn't go because I went to see 1975. I did in Cardiff, not gonna lie. What was you doing the last couple of days, Lee? What kept you busy? I guess you were recovering from Sunderland, probably.
I was still recovering from Sunderland, so I was I was still not in a good state to go to the replay yesterday. Yeah. But still annoying. Now we need to talk about the TV coverage again. So like the magic of the FA Cup. I assumed we'd be able to watch the replay, but magic of the FA Cup. Here's Liverpool and Wolves for the 4 millionth time. We see all the time, and you can't watch the other games. There we go.
I don't see why they can't just all be there, but it wasn't even on Swans TV.
No, I know. I don't get it.
So it's like they didn't have the proper. I mean, they did have obviously cameras down there, but like they didn't broadcast it. It seems. I couldn't.
Yeah. No idea.
I don't know. Weird. I don't know how they make these decisions. Like, surely if his camera's rolling the whole time, like, just put it somewhere.
Seems like it's a stupid.
You don't need commentary. You don't need commentary, do you? You just like they do in the friendlies sometimes, start of the season, where you have one camera on the halfway line and it just pans back and forth.
Yeah, I think like it's stupid. I don't know if it's because like the original game wasn't on TV, so then the replay. I don't know if that's a rule because obviously Wolves and Liverpool was on TV and now it's on TV again, and I think Cardiff game against Leeds was on, wasn't it? And now the replay's on TV tonight. So I don't know if it's like a.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so. Anyway, I don't see why you can't watch it though. I remember the. I don't know if they do it anymore. A couple of seasons back, I think we played Stevenage. I think away, going a couple of years ago now, and all the games on the red button on BBC. Go watch them all.
That would be a good thing. Like if Amazon or anyone did it, I can't see it being BBC. It just don't really do much football now, do they? But money and all that. But yeah, just should be a better way. Oh well.
Anyway, it was frustrating.
Could have gone to the stadium, I guess. But sometimes it was a replay, wasn't it? So it's like I didn't even know when it was officially announced, but I already had plans anyway. And yeah, if you're coming back from Sunderland, then just the first game was so frustrating that it was like.
Yeah, the first game annoyed me so much. I was thinking, I can't do the replay, but I probably would have done it. But we did, obviously, Bristol the weekend before. Then I did a weekend in Sunderland. I didn't get back home really until Monday. It's like, I was hoping I'd be able to watch it on the box. But there we go.
Shouldn't have even been playing last night. Anyway, okay, I don't know about you, but it's freezing down in back home in Swansea. There was a bit of snow up on the hills this morning. I had to go to a first aid course and nice. Could see the snow up on the hills. It was all ice on the floor. It was hailstoning when I went to the car. So I got my snuddy on for this. I don't usually wear like stuff like that for the podcast, but I had to buckle today because it's knobbling.
Yeah, we had a bit of snow, didn't we?
Yeah. I went up to Neath yesterday as well because got family there and there was snow on the streets. First time I've seen that for a while. Actually stuck as well.
Yeah.
So
it's 2 coats colder in Neath, though, isn't it? It's always 2 coats colder in Neath every time.
I thought you were on about some other coat of snow on the floor then for a second.
Yeah.
2 coats of snow, yeah. Anyway, let's move past that comment. I used to live in Neath, just for reference, so I'm allowed to say that. Anyway, moving forward, we'll, so as always, don't forget if you are interested and you're enjoying what's going on and you like to support Lee's drinking of Stella Artois there.
I got to be honest. No, I got to be honest. These are leftover Christmas stuff that I got to get rid of, and I don't like Stella anymore.
In the fridge as well.
Yeah, just trying to get rid of it. So if anybody wants to take it off my hands, swap it for some other beers.
I was going to say, click the big red subscribe button if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Spotify, you can follow us. Should be somewhere under the logo, I think. And yeah, leave a like if you enjoy what we're talking about. Get involved in the comments. Let us know your thoughts and feelings so we know how to approach the upcoming episodes, like what you like to hear us talking about, so we can try and cater it more to what you guys like to enjoy listening about. Every bit of feedback helps us to improve going forward, so I always appreciate that. And you can communicate with us on Twitter as well if you'd like to do that. Anyway, let's get stuck in. We're not probably going to do full hour today. going to be a little bit off the cuff episode. Like I said, we have both been pretty busy and away and whatever, so I've got a little bit of stuff to talk about. We got the 2 games, so we'll start off with those, and then we'll talk a little bit about the transfer activity or lack of. But there has actually been a bit of rumours and news picking up since we spoke last week, even though nothing's happened still. So there is a little bit more to discuss there. But let's start at Sunderland. Obviously, you went up to Sunderland, so you can talk a little bit more about the experience this time, especially with it being away day. You did a weekend up there, so that's always nice to talk about. We usually will just talk about key questions across the games if we're talking about a couple of league games. Because it's a league and cup, we'll just split it. So we'll talk about Sunderland, and then we'll talk about the cup game, because there's a few questions around the team selection and whether it was correct or he's approached the replay in the right way. So we'll talk about that later. But we'll start with the league game, Sunderland. Finally, I say finally, we got the win of Watford, didn't we? But maybe if you take the recent form then of the league games, yeah, there's 2 wins in 3. So is the form starting to pick back up? Is what I was going to say. Take the cup games away now. Obviously, the draw against Bristol was in between the league games, but 4-0 win against Watford, 2-1 loss against Burnley, which it was still a tight game, and now going up to Sunderland and winning 3-1. I think I've just dropped Leo. Are you there still?
No, I'm still here.
Just your camera, that's all right. We don't need to see your lovely man, but anyway, we can still hear your voice. That's the main thing.
Probably for the best, to be honest.
Yeah, so Sunderland then. It's the form in the league starting to pick back up finally after the World Cup?
No, I don't think so. I got to be honest. No, the Sunderland game, I know it was 3-1, and people might disagree with me, but I think 3-1 flattered us quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think we played that well at all, even against 10 men. I did the same sort of thing we talked on the last one about Bristol City, when there was just no real attack, just a bit sluggish again. I think going down the red, definitely a red card, by the way, before we get onto that, but maybe playing against 10 men, it took us ages to adjust to it. It just seemed to take us ages to sort of start getting into the game a bit more. We had a couple more chances than we did previously, but I don't know. I think it just was one of those games where we just didn't look like scoring at all. It was just going on and on and on, and it was 0-0 at half time, and they actually looked more likely to score. Sunderland did, with 10 men. It was the same old thing. We're passing it around. We're making a couple of mistakes. They're nipping in there, and they look like they were better on the attack. But I think when we did get the goal, it was massive, because then I think Tony Mowbray said, the worst team to play against when you got 10 men when they want, when we're 1-0 up. But then it was the same sort of thing against Bristol City. We're 1-0 up, and you can just see the Sunderland were growing into the game. Our passing was getting a bit more sloppy, waiting for us to make a mistake, and they get the equaliser. And I got to be honest, they were good value for the equaliser as well. And I thought, oh, here we go. But I think what saved us was Liam Cullen's ridiculous finish, poacher's finish. I don't think he knew anything about it.
Did he say it was the luckiest goal you've ever seen?
Oh, it literally bounces off the defender, hits his leg, and goes in the bottom corner. I don't think he knows much about it, but
so what is it, like a cross into the box or someone else shot or something?
Yeah, I think it was like a cross into the box. The defender sort of clears it, but it just hits Liam Cullen because he's running in, hits him and goes in the bottom corner. Goal of the season. But no, I think
we take him.
Oh, it's a proper striker's finish, that is. He's got to follow it in, and then I think because that, I think because that came in. That's true, actually. Yeah, you've got to be in the position. He's done it a couple of times when he's scored, goals when they've hit the post and stuff. So he's getting in the right areas. But I think because that goal came almost straight away after they equalised, that killed the game. Then that absolutely killed the game. But I think up to that point, it was still on the fence. And I was thinking, oh my god, we cannot lose this game when they went down to 10 men. So I don't know. I think 3-1 was a bit flat, and then obviously Ollie Cooper goes on in and scores an amazing goal at the end. In all fairness, but yeah, it was a little bit. It was frustrating again. I was getting a bit frustrated.
Ollie Sorry, rambling on a bit. Find the net a little bit, isn't he? Recently,
yeah,
he's getting a couple of goals, which is nice to see, because I think that's something that maybe not missing from his game, but needed to he could do a bit more of, and he's starting to bring that out now, which is only going to benefit him going forward and benefit the team. But yeah, so Sunderland game. Red card, do you want to tell us that? Because I was speaking to you about it after I saw the replay. I've gone through TikTok and I saw some Sunderland fans saying the game's gone soft. I think they were joking. But you said in the stadium you didn't think there was a red card.
No, I got to be honest. But like, you're quite high up in Sunderland. And when it happened, I just thought, yellow card, because he was like on the break, and it looked like he just sort of just cropped him. And I thought, and I didn't realise that when all the Swans players run in, then and there was all the pushing and shoving. I thought, I've missed something here, because it didn't seem that bad.
He missed the ball completely and sent him to Narnia, I think.
Yeah, so. when I saw the replay, I was thinking, it was 100% the red card, and the ref got it right. But yeah, at the time, I was quite surprised, but I was quite far away from it, to be honest. You're up in the gods in Sunderland, but it's a horrific tackle, leg breaker. And then all game, the Sunderland fans like, ref's awful. But I think he got all the big decisions right. It was right after they had a penalty shout, which was not a penalty, because I can't remember who was running in, but Liam Cullen sort of makes the tackle. But the guy tries to do that like spin move. I don't know what you call it. And then he does the spin, and then he just keeps going backwards. He just keeps going backwards into Liam Cullen and leaves the ball. It's just like it's never a foul. And then I think that's what brings on that tackle then, because we instantly break from the penalty shout. And then Luke O'Nine's come in from like full back, 100 miles an hour into the middle of the field. Is a horrendous tackle. Even Tony Mowbray said that he couldn't defend it.
It was horrendous. I saw it came up on TikTok right before I'd seen the highlights or anything. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. I didn't realise it was that clear cut. Sometimes you see a red card and you're like, all right, fair enough. But it's a big challenge. Ollie Cooper got up all right, though, by the look of it, because he scored later on, didn't he?
That was lucky, though, because those are that was a leg breaker tackle. That is the tackle that could end a season,
Yeah, he landed really as well after getting kind of flipped upside down on his back. So
yeah, he scored a great goal, though. That goal he scored at the end was brilliant.
Well, it's good. I mean, we talk about it. We also scored with basically his first touch against Bristol last night. So
yeah, I feel like I'm being harsh. I feel like I'm being harsh on the Swans. Like, I know, like you said, 3-1. It's a good win away. I mean, always, winning away from home is hard in the Championship, but it just had the feel of that game again, where it was like really slipping away from us. Yeah. Especially when they equalised, it's like, this cannot be happening, and we didn't particularly play that well.
I do get what you're saying, but maybe we should put context on it, because Sunderland were 8th place going into the game. They were 3 points ahead of us in the league, and we were away. So, they haven't lost in the last 5 before that.
That's a good win. It's a cracking win. I just think the context of the game, when they were down to 10 men. I just don't think we took advantage of that very well for a while. Maybe it did show in the end.
Yeah, but that's what we were talking about this when we went to Bristol game, about the game plan being at the start, you're trying to tire them out a little bit. So even more so with 10 men, because they do go into a defensive block, preserve a point. You want to move them around so that the opportunities and the gaps come later on. That's what the game plan is, isn't it? A slow, patient build-up play. That's how Russell Martin wants to play football. I know fans get frustrated sometimes how slow it can be, but that is the game plan, right? Whether you like it or not, that's the plan that they go with. Sunderland's form was 3 wins and 2 draws in the last 5. A lot of goals. Good bet would have been both teams to score, looking at their form. Yeah. I don't think they've been doing really well recently. So it might have looked like a lackluster game where we didn't take advantage of 10 men, but I wasn't going up there expecting to win, to be honest. So yeah, 10 men probably.
I wasn't either. It is fair. I just I don't know the way that we were playing again though. I think in principle that works. I get it. Tiring teams out, it works. But then when are we going to take it? When are we going to take advantage? There were so many opportunities where
I feel like we haven't had that for a while. If there's a red card, we seem to struggle anyway.
I know, but there was opportunities where someone has to take a shot and they're just passing it off. No, I don't want to take the shot. I don't want to take the shot. I don't want to take the shot.
Yeah.
There was one from Jay Fulton in the second half where, from my position, he's running in. I think the ball comes out to him and he's running in. He literally has to pass it into the corner. The keeper is the other way. He literally has to pass into the corner, and he cuts back and tries to look for a pass. I'm thinking, why are you not shooting? It just seems to be that they are all reluctant to take a shot, take a chance.
It must be what the coach's staff is saying to them.
Yeah, it must be. Obviously, it must be.
Weird.
But yeah, I don't know. And then our passing was quite sloppy as well. Like I think like sometimes the more we keep the ball, it's just more chance we're going to make a mistake. There were a few dodgy moments between like Cabango and Darlin passing it back and forth where the pass is a bit short and Darlin has to slide in to save the striker taking it and running in. Basically, I think oh my god, we're just putting ourselves under pressure. But yeah, all in all, I think good win away from home. But also, I will say, I think like I know like Sunderland are 8th, and we're still only 3 points off the playoffs and all this. But I just think
now we're 11th.
I just think that pack though. I just think that pack is poor quality. I think it looks good because it's all close, but I just think it's just poor quality.
I think there was two poor sides. Last season, though, I think since COVID, the quality of the league in general has slipped. So,
definitely
just part of the group. You can't argue that. I mean,
Just
look at the signings in the summer. It's nothing special, was it, from us really?
No.
So for us to be still in there, we were more happy that we kept like Perot than we were that we signed anyone.
Yeah,
so like, and then you haven't really performed this year. So not to the levels anyway. He hasn't really been. He's not been a bad championship player, but he's not been what he was last year. Is what I mean. Yeah. So it's kind of the league, isn't it? It's a weird place at the moment, and I don't think that necessarily is going to improve for perhaps a while, unless you get lucky with a couple of like youngsters you might buy and bring through, or lucky with some out there signings that you might make. But yeah, it's not all the time, is it?
Yeah,
or it just clicks and you've got a game plan that works and you manage to go up that way.
Yeah, so I am being a bit harsh. I was obviously chuffed with the win away, just being a bit picky. I think like it looked a bit better than it was, but a couple of things from that game though, like Latbodia right back is frightening me. It's just absolutely ridiculous now. He did well for the third goal. I think Bender plays like a really long ball to him and he like gets on the end of it, and I think like he does well there, but most of the game, like giving the ball away, and he got absolutely rinsed by I think it was Jack Clark playing left wing for Sunderland. He got absolutely rinsed like for the goal.
Better players, isn't he?
He got rinsed for the goal. He got absolutely left dead.
I did actually, when I was on the podcast with the Sunderland fan, Graham, I did say if Latterboyd is playing there up against Jack Clark, it's probably where you want to go.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
I did call that as an opportunity for them, because if they got a tricky winger who's going to take players on, any team, you just wouldn't you? Why would you not?
Yeah.
Why would you attack Manning? You'd attack Latterboyd because he shouldn't be there. He's not
being highlighted.
Yeah,
it's standing out now like a thumb, like a sore thumb. It's just it's too admired. I think like nothing against him. I think like fair enough, he's done well for us. Like, but it just doesn't work. Can't still be playing a centre back or right back. You just can't be doing it all this time. But there we go.
It needs to be fixed. Like seriously. Yeah. What about Diallo? How did he play? Because I thought he was another one I was going to stand up, but it looks like he had quite a poor game.
Yeah, he was quite quiet, to be honest. Didn't really do a lot. I think of the red card, he was a bit isolated then. I think he would be against us, like keeping on the ball. He was a bit isolated, but didn't really see much of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. So, scoring 3 goals was positive. It's just whether we can take it forward now. I mean, looking at the bench again, no Patterson, no Obafemi. Soranola is getting kept out of the team, and he by Latbodia at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's
another interesting conversation there.
Yeah.
Still starting with Grimes, Allen, Felton. Was it the same, like 3 in the middle, just rotating, going forward?
Yeah, same sort of thing. 3 in the middle.
What about Perot and Cullen up top? Are they still peeling wide, or are they not do that?
No, not as much this time. Not as much as that Bristol City game. When you tearing my hair out, they were more direct. I think it works though. I think the Cullen and Perot thing can work quite well. Like I joke about the goal, but he's always in that position, like a proper 9, like always getting into the right position. So I'll give him credit for that, always following it in. Like he scored the 2 goals off the post, and he got that one because he's following in. He's always in the right position. So I think it's working quite well, especially there because like they weren't playing on the wing, which was so much better. They were a bit more in, so it worked.
No, fair. I just maybe it was an experiment at Bristol then, using the FA Cup to try some new ideas, and it didn't quite work out. But there we go. Let's move on to
I will say though, cracking away day, good weekend in Sunderland.
Yeah.
Normally we would probably go to Newcastle, but we didn't this time. We actually just stayed in Sunderland. It's quite good.
Have to go again. Maybe I'll come with you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, going forward then, Birmingham, Bristol City, replay in the cup. I don't know Bristol City's team too well, but I think we made more changes, but I could be wrong. I haven't actually checked, but we made quite a few changes to our team. I think it was only 3 players that stayed in the team, which were Ben Cabango, Mac Grimes, and Joe Perot. Sorry, and Joe Latibodia as well. He stayed. So 4 players. I think Wood didn't start against Sunderland, did he?
No.
So what did you see any of the game first of all? Because it was quite. We did speak earlier. It was quite hard to watch if you didn't go down.
I didn't watch it live. I had it on the radio again, back to old school, because there was nothing on, nothing to watch, and I watched the highlights. But I don't know. Sounded like same old, really. Just a lot of possession, not enough cutting edge. I think you can just expect that these days in most games. I was a little bit. I don't know. I'm a little bit on the fence because I quite like that players like Congreve were getting a start. I was kind of wanted to see that, to see how he does. And then, I don't know, also I'm thinking we're not realistically going to get relegated and we've got an outside chance of the playoffs. Could we not have maybe pushed a little bit for a cup run, knowing that we had Chesterfield or West Brom at home in the next round? I know it's not like, we've got a blockbuster tie in the next round. I think if we had like a Man United or something waiting for us in the next round, we probably would have gone for it. But I don't know. You think like you've got Bristol City at home and then potentially West Brom or Chesterfield. Do you go for it thinking there's a 5th round opportunity there to put together a bit of cup run, knowing that the league is not going to change that much? I mean, we still got an outside chance to playoffs, but yeah. I don't know. Well, I had a fancy the cup run.
We did touch on this to me earlier. Also, I just checked. We definitely made more changes than Bristol made. They didn't make that many, but they did change the formation, so that's something interesting. But yeah, I think when we saw the team, we had a little bit of a conversation about this as well. And I said to you, to be fair, I think you can blame Martin because if he played his first team, it didn't work, and then they were all knackered, and then they had a rubbish game against QPR on the weekend. That would be wrong. You know, they've just done the longest away trip in the season, up to Sunderland, to come back. What's the point of having these players if you can't rotate them? It's not like he played a bunch of kids, is it? He played all of the players that played have started a game this season, I believe. Even Cameron Congreve started a game this season, even though he got subbed off. So they've all started. They've all been a starter at some point, and most of them have been like a first team regular starter at some point. So like Carl Norton, Nathan Wood, who came in, Fisher was number 1 at the start of the season. Sorinola started a run of games, and Cham maybe is the one that is in and out a lot, but he's definitely started games for us like over the last 2 seasons. Do you know what I mean? Cundle, he started plenty of games this season. Congreve's the one that's the most inexperienced, but he has started a game this season. So it's not even like he's made changes of like a bunch of kids. So like, can you really say that? Not you now, but can people really say like they shouldn't have played? Because it was a good option to hand up, and I think it allows what he thinks is right now his first team probably did need a rest. You know, players like Joe Allen. They've done a lot of football recently. It's been quite a lot of fixture congestion, especially with the World Cup. So I think you don't want an FA Cup replay. So when that's now come, he's probably like, you know, obviously he wanted to go for it because he played his first team the first time. But arguably, like, you know, it wasn't a midweek fixture the first time. Now it's a midweek fixture. He's probably thinking, yeah, I want to win. I'm going to still play a strong team. They haven't played together for a while properly, but it gives them a chance to show me where they should. And if it doesn't work out, we need to focus on the league anyway. That's the way I see it anyway.
I think it was a free hit for him, really, because he could have just, like, obviously made 7 changes. And then if we go through, then great. If we don't, then, we had to make 7 changes for after Sunderland, which is fair enough. I can understand why he does it. I also think, I doubt it, but I like to think that he probably said, like, look, I have to make these changes because I haven't got a big enough squad. It was kind of a, this is what I've got.
Yeah.
just to show. But I think you are right. Like the players he has played, you can't say they're not necessarily good enough. But I mean, for that many changes, that combination of players have not played together. Whereas in the league, you sort of have a base and you make one or two changes
I
every
mean,
week. To
it's
make
not too.
7 changes,
Did he play 5 at the back?
I think it was 4, wasn't it?
So who played in midfield? Because on SofaScore's got Latibodia, but I doubt.
Maybe it wasn't then.
Was it Norton and Latibodia played right back?
Yeah, maybe. No, because it was Wood played, didn't he?
Yeah, and Cabango.
Oh, so it would have
So
been
what I'm saying
it was
to
a
you-
5 then. I think it was a 5 because he
All right,
went.
so back 5 of Soranola, Wood, Cabango, Norton, and Latibodia, I'm pretty sure will have played together this season. Quite a few times earlier this season when Norton was starting.
When I looked at the highlights, so it looked like Latibodia was playing, and not Latibodia, Soranola was playing left back.
Yeah,
I
so
think
it was. Yeah, so Norton would have been in centre back. He was a 3, wouldn't it? It would have been Wood, Cabango, Norton, and you would have had Soranola and Latibodia either side, which they have done that when they've subbed off Manning, for example, earlier this season.
Fisher as well.
Fisher, he started the season, so that back 5 looks more like it looked like at the start of the season, bar Manning probably. Like it's not that out there because Darling was out of the picture for quite a few games in a row, and everyone was questioning that. So I think that's that questionable. The midfield of
but like Norton
Grimes
hasn't
and
played
Cundle
for
is
weeks.
probably where I'd be like Grimes, Cundle, and Cham, isn't it? So
yeah.
But then also, if you look at it as well, I think you would have made 4 more changes if you had 4 more options. But there was literally there's no one that could have come in for Cabango, Grimes, Latibodia, and Peru because the only ones you could swap them for would have also played in the previous game.
I think he did it though, didn't he? Like swapped them then, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, you would have had Obafemi and Patterson and Oko Flex and Finley Stevens, wouldn't you? But they're not here anymore. Well, not here or not here mentally. So yeah, you could maybe that is part of the reasoning. So what I'm saying is like, I personally don't think he should get criticism for the selection year. If it didn't work, that's fine. If it didn't work together, that's fine. But like, question the players then. That's why they're not in the first team now. They need to do better, really. I mean, they got to extra time, didn't they? So like, I don't think it was necessarily like an awful performance. Essentially,
no, it wasn't.
It's 2 draws against Bristol. I know we ended up losing in extra time, but 90 minutes is 2 draws against Bristol City. Whatever, move on. It's not really that important. And I think you said outside chance of the playoffs. If you're the manager right now, we're probably looking at it from how we've played as the form perspective. Yeah, so we're not really expecting it. We don't necessarily think we are good enough to go to the playoffs and go up. Yeah, I think that's fair. At this point, we're probably thinking, it's probably not like nailed on or nothing. If it happens, it happens, and obviously we're going to love it. Yeah, but whatever, that's a bonus. He's probably looking at it from the manager perspective, and you have to really, didn't you? Like, well, hang on, we're only actually 1 win off the playoffs. So,
it's still on. I'm not like
run. I don't care. Like,
I'm not criticizing him too much. I'm not criticizing him too much for the selection. I am just a bit gutted because I think it was a chance for a good cup run.
Yeah.
I think there was a chance there to get at least the 5th round.
The other side of the coin, really, just the 2 sides.
I know.
Review both sides, but I think that's what his head must be saying. Like, well, hang on, we are only 1 win off. I haven't got the most in-depth squad. I can't risk big injuries because I have no guarantee they're actually going to get me new players. Highlight that maybe as well. But 1 win, like, we could go and beat QPR on a weekend, and West Brom, Norwich, Millwall, Luton, Sunderland lose or draw, and we're in the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, it's up to us to stay there. Whether that happens or not, there's another question. But from the manager perspective, surely you have to be confident that you can do it, like, and make the team feel like they can do it. So I'd understand if that's what that's the motivation and that's the priority in the camp. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Oh no, I agree with you. I can understand why he's done it.
Yeah,
but
and he did bring on
for me. I want to win. I want to win that game. I know, like, people can write it off now. They're obviously we've lost. I understand why he would have done it, but for me in our position, I would have liked to have gone for a cup run. Just I get the timing of the replay hasn't helped as well off the back of coming, from Sunderland. So that's got to factor into the decision making. But that's a winnable game at home. Again,
Yeah.
on the players as well. Like you said, on the players as well. Like that's a winnable game at home. It's just a bit disappointing that we're now out in the third round. We should have won it in the first leg, really, but we didn't play very well there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a bit frustrating, really.
No, that's fair. I think there's definitely 2 points to it, isn't there? It's just that's always what you got to think about, I guess. Like,
yeah,
there's always, being the manager, I guess it's always a hard decision to make, but
you've
got to prioritize one way or the other, and I guess that's the way he's just decided to go. So
we are short at the
if
moment.
we get there at the end of the season in the playoffs, and because it could happen, then he's going to say, "Oh, this is why." So if it doesn't,
we are short at the moment. Massively short players at the moment.
We'll talk about transfers in a sec. Just nearly finished on this game because I haven't got too much to say on it because I think it was. I don't know if the stats are correct. I feel like they're probably not right. But Sofa Score is saying we had 1 shot and Bristol had 2.
That wouldn't surprise me though.
I doubt it's. I feel like they've only got the shots that represent the goals, to be honest. So the last FA Cup game, they didn't have good in-depth stats either. But
I use Flash Score, I do, and it's usually pretty good. And they've got 6 shots on target for the Swans and 2 for Bristol City. 2 shots on target.
Maybe we should have scored more.
Yeah.
Anyone who went to the game, feel free to let us know in the comments.
I think it's the same story though. Again, going back to like the way we play, it's like conceding goals at every chance we give away, like that. Like 2 shots on target, 2-1.
Just teams know they've got to be clinical against us, don't they? They're patient, but when they have the ball, they know they've got to do something with it. So the game is quite direct, and we can't seem to cope with that.
From the highlights, though, again, it just looks similar. Where it's where we just get caught out. We're obviously teams lie deep, don't they? They lie deep in the pitch where we've got the ball. So you tend to have like the back 3, or if we're playing a back 4, you've got the 2 centre backs and the full backs wide. They're almost on the halfway line, and they eventually because we're just slowly creeping up because they drop, and we make a mistake there, and we get caught out.
Yeah,
that's what seems to happen a lot.
Yeah, it's a problem from last year. That's probably one of my biggest criticisms of Martin is like that sort of stuff still haven't been fixed. But
yeah,
that's probably what's letting us down really as well, being in the playoffs right now. Because if 3 points, I think that's 1 win somewhere, isn't it? That definitely could have been avoided if one of those mistakes didn't happen.
Yeah,
but there we go. We are where we are. Ollie Cooper obviously came on and scored in like 30 seconds, I think, with his first touch. Another assist as well for Matt Grimes.
Yeah.
Missed that, could only pass back. Well, actually, no, he did pass backwards for the assist. It was technically backwards, so can't be doing that.
I don't know. I don't. People say this all the time now, like, oh, you can only pass backwards. Nobody says that anymore. I think that's gone now. Everyone just keeps bringing it back up.
Like, it's just...
Yeah.
It took long
enough. Oh, rightly so. Rightly so, it's gone. But rightly so, yeah.
7 assists, I think he's on this season, though.
Yeah, it's class, isn't it? Mate, it's just class. Can't say anything else about him. We're absolutely screwed if he goes in the summer, by the way.
I think that might be league assists. FA Cup 1, yeah.
I know we'll get on to transfers now, but I think like the results we've had recently, to be fair, not that bad. I mean, we drew away at Bristol and beat Sunderland away and drew at home and lost in extra time. But I think we're in a bit of, not trouble, but we desperately need players. We're in a bit of a state at the moment.
Again, this happened last year. January.
We're in a bit of a state.
We're always in a bad place in the middle of a transfer window.
Exactly, all the time.
It feels like there's a couple of players that their head goes during the transfer window, disrupts the harmony of the team, and we're just not sorting the problems out. And then we
just can't find that consistency.
The problem is then, right? We needed a right back. Yeah, that was a priority going into this window. But then because we've got 2 players whose heads are gone now, and some of the loans that got recalled, all of a sudden, is right back now our number 1 priority? We
can't.
We can afford to fix one thing at a time. And I was like, well, our second striker's decided he's done. And one of our first choice attacking player, winger, wide, whatever you want to call him, Patterson. Do you know what I mean? So all of a sudden I was short on top as well. And it's, oh, well, hang on, we can't fix all of these things. And then you're trying to spread the money and maybe it doesn't get invested as well. It's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Like, if we went into this window and Patterson and Obafemi were fine, they're still playing, still committed, all the rest of it, even if Okoflex got recalled, I just think you just get right back in.
Yeah.
All the money, just get right back
we'd be in a good position. But this is what's doing my head in. I don't know what's going on, because the last 2, 3, 4 transfer windows, we just can't find the level of consistency. Whether it's because, I don't know, there's a hangover still of us coming down and loan signings and stuff like this, but we just cannot find that level of consistency at all in every window. It's just like someone wants to leave. We need this position. Somebody else wants to leave. Oh, but we need to fix this, but we haven't got the money. And it's just like now we hit January all of a sudden. We hadn't been playing that well, but it could start to build from the Watford win, where you think, oh, hang on, now we're doing all right here. And as soon as January hits every year, there's controversy. Or as soon as the season starts and we're still in the summer transfer window, there's still controversy. And that's why we always play well. We always have our best patch of the season in that October time, where the last 2 years we've played Cardiff in October, and it just so happens we played Cardiff in that time. That's where we've had our best runs, though. That's where we've had 5, 6 games unbeaten, because that's where we find our level of consistency without all this rubbish going on all the time. And I don't know how you solve it, because it's the players at the end of the day. How can you foresee again that Obafemi? Well, I guess you could probably guess that Obafemi was going to pick up a fuss again. But
Martin was
Patterson signed a contract
as the first player when he came here. He had confidence in him, so
signed a new contract in the summer.
Could be a little bit of a, well, I don't know what the word is, but is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. You've just got to deal with what's in front of you, unfortunately.
But we're in that mess again where we're trying to literally scrape through January in terms of on the pitch as well. We haven't got enough players to play.
We don't have that much time left, so let's just try and touch on some of the transfer stuff. So the big one is Morgan Whittaker, I think. Obviously, he's been recalled, hasn't featured for the Swans since he's been recalled. Now, that has led to some people criticising Russell Martin's management of him further, even than the fact that they already disagreed with the fact he's gone on loan, whatever. Thing is, right, you can't criticise the fact he's gone on loan when he's gone on loan and done really well. That's why you send someone on loan. So then they recall him because we're short and he's been doing really well. So now maybe he can offer something for us. And the whole thing about him not playing for us yet, I'm not 100% sure on the rules behind this, but there's definitely something around a player being registered to play for only 2 clubs in a season. Now, I think there might be something, if they're going on loan, short-term deals, like a 3-month loan deal. I'm not sure if that counts towards it or not. But obviously, he was originally on loan for the season, so he would have been registered to Plymouth properly. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure of the ruling. I tried to quickly get up for the podcast, couldn't find a good, clear, concise answer. But there is definitely, in terms of transfers, for example, if he played for us earlier this season and then we sold him to Rangers, say in the summer, he kicked the ball for us in the first match, sent him to Rangers in the summer, and then it gets to January, Rangers don't want him anymore. He can't go on loan, I believe, or he won't be able to play. It happened with
something like that, isn't it? Yeah, you can't play for so many
someone
clubs.
Before. Was it Ollie McBurney or not? Or it was another striker that we had in the youth team, and he got recalled because of some sort of personal reasons, and then he couldn't play for the rest of the season. I can't remember who it was. It might have been McBurney one year.
I can't remember.
Early on. And he couldn't play for even, I think, us, because he'd been on loan, come back, gone on loan again. The second one, something happened, personal reasons, he had to come back, but he couldn't play for us at top level in the senior squad because he'd been registered twice.
Yeah.
So there is something. So if we play Whittaker now against QPR, I'm not sure he could actually go to Rangers and play until the summer. So, and not even just Rangers, like any club. So I think the point is, they might have recalled him to use him, but if there's interest and he's going to generate a decent fee, everyone is available under that narrative in the squad. There's not a player that isn't available under that narrative, okay? So if there's interest, especially, they're not going to use him until after January. So if he's still at the club in February, he'll probably start featuring in the first team. He's not going to feature in the first team in January, I believe, just in case he does end up going. And in the situation that we are in, apparently he is not happy and he wants to leave. So maybe they are more open to letting him go and use the funds then to fix some of the problems we've already just mentioned with the Obafemi, the Patterson, the right back. We need something in these areas. And we'll speak about those in a minute, but nothing much is happening there. So if there's opportunity here, Rangers have made a bid. It's been turned down. I can't see a fee. Russell Martin's come out saying we're not going to $1.5 million. Russell Martin saying that we're not going to sell him on a cheap. So whatever that means. But yeah, I think there's more to it than just saying Russell Martin's managing him badly here, because he's kind of got his hands tied behind his back a little bit with the situation.
I don't necessarily think Russell Martin's got anything to do with it now. I think this is what's worrying me. I don't think he was recalled. I don't think he was recalled to play in the first place. I don't think that was the intention. I think he's gone out on loan. He's done really well at Plymouth. I think they're recalling him to cash in. I think they're recalling him now to fund our transfer. Because this is why we haven't brought anybody in yet.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have to do that, see? You can sell a player who's on loan and they just terminate the loan and go straight there. So they wouldn't have had to recall him.
I don't see him doing that, though.
They did it with... so it happened to someone the other day, didn't they? I can't remember who it was now. But like... Was it like a Chelsea player or something?
No,
you'd have to. You get sold somewhere. Like if a club puts a bid in for a player who's on loan, I think they can like pay out the remainder of that loan. So like, I don't know if there's a fee necessary for us to cancel Whittaker's loan. It depends what the agreement is, but there is stuff that can happen there. So I'm not 100% sure they would have brought him back. I think maybe they have got that as an idea, or maybe a first idea what they'd like to do. But I do also think, with Patterson and Obafemi situation, Martin will have been like, yeah, he can come back, and if we don't sell him, I will be using him because we are short there now.
I don't know. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if we end up seeing him in a Swan shirt. But because I just think they recalled him to sell him. I think that's what I see as the intention, because they have to recall him to let people know that he's available, really, don't they? Because as far as everyone else is concerned, he's on loan to Plymouth till the end of the season, isn't he? So until they recall him, everyone else thinks he's staying there for the season.
So the agent's a foul man. You just tell the agent.
Yeah, but he's not even in the window, is he? Because he expressed how much he didn't want to leave Plymouth. So when he was recalled, you could be right to a certain extent, where they've recalled him and thought, right, we want to sell him, but let's first see what happens with Obafemi and Patterson, and if we can bring anybody in. But it's worrying for me, because it just seems like, again, that this window, they've hinted on, prior to Christmas, that we might bring people in January, but then we're 18 days into January now. We haven't got rid of anybody. We haven't brought anybody in. And it's just a mess again.
He's saying he doesn't even think we're any closer to bringing anyone in, to be honest.
Which is even more concerning. But it looks like that he's got... You can see it already. It looks like we've got to sell Whittaker, Obafemi and Patterson in order to bring people in. They have to be sold in order to bring people in. And I don't understand it, because we've had the loans that have been cancelled. We sold Flynn Downs in the summer for 12 million and brought in Joe Allen on a free. Admittedly, he probably would have taken up some of that with his wages. So why again have we got no money in the pot until we sell players? This goes back to obviously the conversations we've had 100 times over. But how are we relying on selling these players now to bring players in? And, they're playing hardball because they want more money. And I can just see it going right down to the wire again, where Whittaker, Obafemi and Patterson are in the mix on deadline day, and then we end up bringing in Schechter on loan last minute.
Is he still around?
I don't know. It's just why does this happen every transfer window?
Seems like gone quiet on incomings as well. But
I remember the days you used to watch in deadline day, and the Swans weren't even involved, and it was so frustrating. It was like, oh, we never do anything on deadline day. And now, for the last 5-6 years, that's all we ever do is sell everybody last minute and then bring players in desperately.
Yeah.
Remember the deadline day? Sorry, I'm going off top. Think about it. There was a deadline day where it was like Leroy Furs going to Villa, I think, and it was all day. Leroy Furs was going to Villa. The deadline passed, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we sold Tom Carroll to Villa." It's like, what? How did that change?
Yeah, I mean, crazy. But I don't know. We'd have to wait and see what happens. Really, we've also rejected a bid for Obafemi because apparently he wasn't enough. I can't remember whether they were bidding in the summer now. That we rejected a few in the summer, didn't we?
Yeah, I think they're on. So I keep seeing about 2.5 million, 3 million now, but I can't remember what it was in the summer. Was it about 5 million, maybe?
I don't know. I can't remember. He's not out of contract this summer, is he? So surely you at least start where you pick. I don't know. God knows. we'll see. Anyway, so yeah, Whittaker to Rangers, probably not the last we heard of that. I think it probably is likely to. I mean, when a club like Rangers come, I feel like he's probably going to go there, and they want a bit more money out of that. Patterson apparently was going to go to Coventry for about, what was it, 700k? Might have been less after.
I think it was about 400k I saw. I don't know if it's true.
I saw a couple of different figures. I saw one, I said 250 as well. So God knows, but somewhere in that region. But by all accounts, that's not happening anymore. Coventry aren't that keen on actually stumping up cash for him. And yeah, deals off. But I thought by all accounts and purposes, he was like signed, sealed, ready to go.
He's from Coventry as well.
Yeah, hometown club. So maybe the links got, fired up from that connection. But what has been reported today is that it's not really happening now. I'll just read here. Coventry Live states that Sky Blues are not currently pursuing an interest in Swansea attacker Jamie Patterson. Russell Martin said, "There's lots of interest in Patter, we'll just have to wait and see. There's lots of interest, discussion and talks, nothing concrete as of yet."
Yeah.
But there we go.
It's a funny question though. Like, yeah, that seems strange to me. Maybe he will go, but doesn't seem to be any other interest. It was only the Coventry rumour. If we can't get rid of Patterson again, like he doesn't go, can we realistically, can he ever play again for us? Even if we don't get rid of him?
Either way, he hasn't done anything all season, have he?
I know, but I'm just thinking, can he ever wear that shirt again? Like after all that, and same with Obafemi, if we don't manage to get rid of him.
He did play after the World Cup. It's not like he last time he visually kicked off, didn't he? But like he just disappeared this time.
Yeah, but Martin has come out and said now, hasn't he? He said
attitude, didn't he? But
yeah.
But what's he mean? He's not bothered. Like he's just not trying. It's
still
grey, isn't it? It's still grey area. Like sometimes though, the club's just like, I want to go now, and then that's what they say in it. But I'm not saying it is that.
Maybe.
You just never know. Never know what's going on behind the scenes, really, do you?
No, we'll never know.
As I said for incomings then, I've got nothing more to update than what we spoke about last week. There's still those same names going around, which I forgot because I haven't really been trying to read into it because it's just a case of constant disappointment. It was that guy that we were looking at with Sunderland. Yeah, I haven't seen nothing about that for a while.
No, because we're waiting to get rid of Obafemi
as well. But I feel like we haven't got the money to stamp up for him.
Because we're waiting to get rid of Patterson and Obafemi. Nothing's going to happen until we get rid of them.
It's gone quiet about Hans Wolf again. I don't know. There's just no names linked. I can't see for like last couple of days. Nothing new anyway.
Quite scary, isn't it? Because I think, like Russell Martin, we said, and we touched on it, Russell Martin said he didn't expect anybody to come in. Unless he's just playing it down. But
well, he said they're probably further away than the last time that question was asked, which would have been the game before.
Great.
Just means a couple of panic buys on or panic loans on deadline day, probably.
Definitely. I think so. That's what's coming. Deadline day. Maybe Obafemi and Patterson go out last minute, or Whittaker, and we bring someone random in just to like we did with like that Flynn Stevens come in, didn't he? Last minute, just to cover a hole, and then never played because he probably wasn't good enough. Or Russell Martin didn't deem him good enough. It was just a last minute. But yeah, just last minute, like let's just get a body in the door. I don't know. They probably got, obviously they do their scouting, don't they? They probably got a list of players that they're looking at. But then when they get to deadline day and they're desperate, they're like, oh, realistically, we can probably only get him. Let's just bring him in.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Maybe next week we'll have something better to talk about. But we'll end here because I know it's coming up to the time you need to shoot off.
No worries.
But yeah, cheers again for the podcast. And thank you everyone for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed what we talked about today. Sorry there wasn't a little bit more positivity around the transfers. I think that's what everyone's waiting for now. But, we can only talk about what's in front of us, and there's not really much good happening on that front, unfortunately. There's nothing happening on that front, really. Nothing concrete, just waiting game. When it comes to the football, a little bit better, perhaps. Disappointing to be out of the FA Cup, but at least the latest league result was a good one. So let's hope we can carry that into QPR. They've probably dropped off quite a lot, actually, the last couple of weeks. So there's an opportunity there to carry on some good form. And you're saying about the bad quality of the league, Lee, I forgot to mention, we're only 1 point off Norwich, so they were in the Premier League last year.
Yeah, but Norwich been not very good this year, are they?
Yeah, but their squad is better than ours. It is. On paper.
Yeah, I think they still got Pookie up front, haven't they?
Yeah. Anyway, let's leave it there, and we shall catch you in the next video. Have a good one. Yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you soon.